Good morning to the Honorable, the judges, the committees, and my beloved viewers. First of all, thank you for the chance given me to deliver some ideas to hold this video recording. I hope we are on in the world healthy. My name is Kadir Dr. Yadi. I am a representative student from Diploma Program at School of Pharmacy Mahaganesha. Today, in my short speech, I will convey in the role of rational use of antibiotic to support sustainable development goals for Indonesia. The goals of the SDGs are good health and welfare, which are to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all people of all ages. Many people think that if you get sick and then take antibiotic, the pain will get better soon. Many also think that when they feel better, they don't need to take antibiotic again until they run out. This assumption sometimes encourages people to buy their own antibiotic or ask health workers to give them antibiotic. The most widely used group of drugs in the world are antibiotics. Antibiotics are drugs used to treat infection caused by bacteria. The problem here is that a lot inappropriate use of antibiotic is found. The most common example is the inappropriate use of antibiotic. Most people still believe in antibiotic as drug that can cure various diseases. In fact, not all diseases can be cured with antibiotic. Antibiotics are only used to treat bacterial infection. Antibiotics are not effective in treating infection caused by virus, fungi, or other non-bacteria. There are still many uses of antibiotics to treat viral infections such as the flu or treat diarrhea and fever, which are not necessarily caused by bacteria. The use of antibiotic is not without risk, especially if you take this drug carelessly. The use of antibiotic must be with a doctor's prescription. There are various ways that people can do get antibiotic without doctor prescription. One of them is by using a previous doctor prescription to get the medicine you need, including antibiotic. The condition case, many people will finally choose not to see a doctor to get a new doctor prescription. In fact, there are various reasons why antibiotic must be prescribed by the last doctor. The first, the use of antibiotic may become inappropriate and the drug may not work optimally. Second, risk of causing allergic reaction in user. Third, trigger interaction with other types of drug that are harmful of the user. And next, excessive use of antibiotic can lead to drug resistance. And the last, trigger this disruption of the bacteria in the body so that it can increase the risk of worse health problem. Those are some of the reasons why antibiotic must be prescribed by a doctor. Also, the use of antibiotic is considered effective enough to overcome health complaints. Never force or ask the doctor to issue antibiotic if they are not needed. Rational use of antibiotic is absolutely imperative. The rationale for the use of antibiotic include the right indication, the right patient, the right drug, the right dosage, and being aware of the side effect of the drug. Irrational use of antibiotic will cause many side effects and encourage the emergence of resistant bacteria. One of the causes of the increasing incidence of resistance in the irrational use of antibiotic. The prescribed Antibiotic 3 things that must be considered are 1. Are antibiotics really necessary? If antibiotics are needed, what is the most rational choice of antibiotic? First choice, example including whether the indication is right, the patient is right, the drug is right, and the dosage is right according to the patient complaint. Is the antibiotic effective? One of the recent evidence of the main cause of antibiotic resistance is its widespread and irrational use. The result of the antimicrobial resistance in Indonesian community surveys proved that from 2,494 individuals in community, 43% of E. coli were resistant to various types of antibiotics including ampicillin 34%, cotrimoxazole 29%, and chloramphenicol 25%. Finally, what can we counsel about the importance of using antibiotics in rational way? How can we contribute to support SDGs related to our medication behavior? Therefore, irrational use of antibiotics will have a negative impact, one of which is the increasing incidence of bacterial resistance to antibiotics. For the reason, rational use of antibiotics is expected to have a positive impact, including reducing morbidity, mortality, economic loss, and reducing the incidence of bacterial resistance to antibiotics. So, it's the end my speech today. I hope some of the points that I have delivered today will encourage all of use for the better health practice in our everyday situation. I am looking forward that in the use of antibiotics all elements involved, both health worker and patient, to work together to comply with the use of antibiotics rationally. I thank you for the attention during this video. Have a nice day and hope to see you again in the next session.